back at it again out here. We actually went to Caseville, Michigan, and did some work on a 69 Chevelle. Over at Dave's Collision, Dave, he had a friend that needed some performance work done on his 502 big block Chevy and his 69 Chevelle SS 4-speed car, beautiful car, which we'll be able to show you guys that by the end of the video here. We got to take the carburetor back. As you guys can see, I went there, did some work. I changed his plugs out for him, checked his timing, found he had a bad cap and rotor, little stuff. Like I said, did his spark plugs for him, but he had no pressure regulator hooked up with electric fuel pump, another one of them deals, and he was getting too much pressure. Well, this car hasn't ran in probably 3 to 4 years, and I don't see the discoloration. That was the gas that was coming out of the float bowls. It's just nasty. I mean, it's so thick it doesn't even really want to run out. You can see the color of that. It's yellow. But yeah, we got his 850 tore apart. I figured I'd do a video on some of the little tricks and trades, how to set up your Holley 4150 carburetor, what to look for as far as internal parts goes, your power valves. They actually have a 6.5 in the front. This is a dual feed double pumper 850, but they have a 10.5 power valve in the back, on the back metering block here, and then a 6.5 up front. Well, I want to let you guys know, anytime that you have a dual feed double pump, which, it means you got double pumps front and back, and it's dual feed, you have to set these up with the same power valves front and rear. I mean, yeah, you can change the squirters, that go in here, discharge nozzles, some people call them, I call them squirters. The one down in there, you got them little bullets that go in here. I call them bullets. They slide down in there, then your squirter goes on top. You got a gasket on the bottom, and also there's a gasket, a beveled gasket here, as you guys can see on that. You never want to lose that stuff. Okay. But yeah, I got Mr. Bill. His name is Bill, from Sandpoint, Michigan. Well, Caseville, but he lives on Sandpoint. He's bringing his regulator over. He bought a new regulator that we're going to try and get set up for him. So I got to figure out what fittings we're going to need, and then reroute the fuel line. He's got his fuel line coming down like on his car. I'll show you guys, but it's coming up. So we're going to mount the regulator up here. He's already got an MSD box mounted on his inner fender well, so that it's not going to be an issue of drilling a couple more holes, which I hate drilling. You guys know that. I hate drilling holes in these kind of cars, these old muscle cars like that. But he doesn't have a problem with it, so that's what we're going to be doing. He's going to be dropping that off, and after he does that, I'll get back with you guys, and we'll go over this carburetor in detail on what needs to be done, how to set them up, how to make sure your transfer slots. I'll go over the whole thing with you on getting one of these 4150s set up and ready to run. So hang with us, guys. All right, guys, we're out here messing with this 850 for Bill, and we got a lot of stuff all cleaned up. We got our new power valves installed, the new jetting that we're going to go with, the 77H's, all the air fuel mixture passages are blowed out, ready to go. We're at the point, and this thing, let me tell you guys, was nasty. I don't know if you guys can see that or not, but see that looks like yellow, it looks like oil. That's actually the varnished fuel that was coming out of here, and it was nasty. Look at this rag from me wiping off the squirters and all that. I think this carburetor actually had a backfire at one time and caught on fire. I mean, the choke horn is just burned up and black. Inside the secondary side here is burned up and black. It's just nasty, and I've been wiping away at it, and I'm starting to get it. But I don't really want to take a wire wheel to it. I got a soft bristled brass brush that I've been kind of trying to use, and I tell you, a lot of the stuff is just burnt right in. I think it had a massive fire at one time, and a backfire, and caught on fire, and I think it burned it up pretty good. But like I said, we got the power valves changed out, new gaskets already on the back side there. We're getting ready to, I got to finish cleaning up the gasket off the float bowls, blow these out one last time. And I'll show you guys how to set the floats up for initial fire up to where you're close. I mean, if you want them higher, you can. That way it's not running out the fuel bowl plug here for the float bowl. This tells you here. Usually the way I set them is that I bring the fuel up to where when I rock my car back, I'll grab the fender and just rock the car a little bit. It'll splash out on these, you know, because this don't have the glass sights like the newer, the newer style carbs have. So what I'll do, I'll just bring it up to, to where I think it's close. Just grab it and shake it, and if it's close, then it'll come out there, and I call that good. So, I mean, you don't want to have too much fuel in here because it'll overflow the boosters and drip out that way too. But I'm going to get a few more things set up here, and I want to bring it back, and I want to show you how to set transfer slots, which is the worst enemy of people tuning carburetors or trying to tune their engine idle up, and your eyes are burning, and the number one culprit is transfer slots, and I kind of want to go over that with you guys. So hang tight. We'll be right back with you, and we'll go over it. All right, guys. I'm just going to grab a little pick here. This right here is called your transfer slot. And you also have another vacuum port here, which is exposed, which is not good. Right there. Yeah, they have this idled way, way too much. They got the idle screw is opened up way too far, and you can actually see where it's running fuel out of here, your transition slot it transitions from an idle circuit to your main circuit as you open your throttle blades. And if your throttle blades are opened up too far, then you're trying to idle off of your main jets. And that's where you're going to get the burning eyes, the black and fouled out spark plugs, and black-tailed pipes, and even, in cases probably like this one here at his car, he's got even black smoke coming out of his tailpipes at idle. So that's why right there. So what I'm going to do here, I'm going to show you. You want to have as least amount of your transfer slot showing as possible. So what we're going to do, we're going to take a little screwdriver here, and we're going to back this up to where they're square. And it's coming around. See how that other vacuum port's going away? That's what you want right there, guys. That's perfectly squared in my eyes. And you can see that other vacuum port is gone. So this is where I'm going to leave it. And if it needs more idle after that, then I'm going to go ahead and advance this timing to bring the idle up around 1,000. That's where people mess up. They just think that they can crank on that idle screw. But if you get a carburetor, even a brand new carburetor, 4150 out of a box, or even a Dominator, you never want to just start reefing on the front and rear idle screws. You want to flip the carburetor over, make sure that both transfer slots are squared up. And when they're squared up and you know that they're where you want them, then you set your idle with your timing. If it's too high, you want to retard it a little bit. If it's not enough, you advance it a little bit. So that's the number one cause of your eyes burning, blackening of the plugs, and all running like shit. Yeah, because you're actually trying to idle the car off of the main circuit. So that's what we want, guys. Is right there. That looks perfect to me. I'm going to leave it alone. We're going to fire up. It is a 4-speed car, so we're going to fire it up in neutral, obviously, and we're going to have it idled. Obviously, in automatic, you'd want to put it in gear and try and be at 900 to 1,000. On a big block Chevy with that nice hydraulic roller cam like he's got in there. So, yeah, that's money right there. So, next, I'm going to get a couple things. I'm going to blow out this carburetor one last time, get everything cleaned up, see if I can get that choke horn cleaned up a little bit more. Like I said, I truly believe 100% that this bad boy has been on fire in its past. And that could be from the wrong timing. Is usually why you get backfires or too much fuel. Obviously, if there's a lot of fuel in the intake and he goes to start it, it could backfire. But a lot of it is from not the right timing. So we'll get Mr. Bill fixed up. But this phone's about time. I'm going to put you on the charger. When I bring you guys back, I'll show you how to set the floats up to where you guys are close. Where you ain't got to worry about it coming out of the float plug, the float bowl plug, and we'll go over the bullets and the squirters, and that'll be pretty much it. So hang with us, guys. We'll be right back at you. All right, guys, we're on to the float bowls here. Oh, shit. Better turn this radio down. Don't need to get copyright strike. But like I was saying, we're onto the float bowls here now. And this is the rear float bowl, so it'd be sitting like this in the car. This would be towards your firewall. So if you wanted to make any float adjustments, obviously you would take your float bowl plug out. You would take a straight screwdriver, hold this nut, and then loosen up this nut here, or the straight screwdriver screw, holding the nut. Loosen that top nut up, and if you turn this counterclockwise, it raises your float. And if you screw it in, righty tighty, lefty loosey, if you go clockwise with it, it's going to lower your float. So, but the way I check them to make sure that they're all good to go, which this is, because I already adjusted it. You guys see your upper part of your float and your lower part of your float. You got a seam, all right? You guys can see that seam there, right here. And you want that seam just below that float bowl plug. And that'll, because that's where your gas level rides on your float, is right there at that seam. So you want that right below your float bowl plug here, and you should be good to go. If you have electric fuel pump, you can actually turn your fuel pump on in stages to fill the float bowl, and with the plug out, and then you can watch it come up, and you can determine there. But if you have a mechanical pump that's on the side of the engine, it'd be more difficult. You'd have to keep rolling it over until your float comes up. But yeah, it's pretty simple, guys. We're pretty much, I got the front pretty much on. I got to put my air fuel mixture screws in. But right now we are putting in, you have these gaskets, I guess you'd call them, plugs. They hold the idle screw mixture screws in. So what I usually do, I usually take my screwdriver and I'll stick them on there like so. Come on now. And we'll just go ahead and put them in there. Stick them in. And you take your finger You know, it's kind of hard to reach if you got big fingers like I do, kind of seat them in there with a pair of needle nose, push them in. And if you guys can see in there, they kind of got teeth that are on the metering block. And sometimes, you know, these styrofoam, or these cork, excuse me, not styrofoam, they're cork gaskets. Sometimes the cork gets, if you go to remove them and the cork is soaked and nasty, but you can actually see the teeth mark on the gasket there. And they are beveled, so you got to kind of watch where you put them in. So it would go in like that. But, you know, you can tear these and they can get bad. These ones are actually still pretty decent, so I do have new ones that I could put in, but if it ain't broke, don't fix it type deal. So, like I said, all I got to do is put my air fuel mixture screws back in now. I already got my squirter and bullet put in the front, and I got this cleaned up as much as I can in there, guys. That shit is burnt right into the casting of the carburetor. So we're going to take our other bullet, drop it in, boom. The pointy side of the bullet goes down. Our squirters, you see you got your little notches there. Make sure your gasket's on the bottom. Your notches always goes up against your fuel bowl horn, float. You know, this goes into your float bowl. It's your overflow tube. You always want your notches towards the back side of your tube there, just like so. And you'll tell when it's sitting flush. Then you just go ahead and tighten that up, and that's your squirter setup. And then if we're done, we're going to go through and check to make sure that we got 10,000ths at full throttle. You want 10,000ths clearance when you got full throttle to make sure that you're not going to bottom out your pump. But any movement of your throttle here, you want to see movement on that lever, on your auxiliary pump lever. And we're pretty close there, but I got to check the back side. So yeah, we pretty much got this all wrapped up for him. Everything, like I said, besides it all burnt to crap on the inside of the carb, very much I can do about that. But you know, everything's blown out, brake cleaned, all the passages, everything's cleaned up as far as the jetting goes. Your air fuel mixture screws are all cleaned up nice. New power valves, all new gaskets. So, I mean, it should, even though it looks like crap on the inside of here, it should still run like brand new. So, but next clip you'll see us out there actually installing it on his '69 SS Chevelle big block 502 4-speed car, and we'll bring you guys back when we get there, and we'll get this dialed in, and I'll show you how to set the idle with timing and not with your idle screw on the carburetor, since I have my transfer slots set where I want them. So hang with us, guys. We'll catch you when we get out that way. All right, we're out here in Sand Point at Mr. Bill's house. This is his '69 big block 4-speed Chevelle Super Sport. Does this originally have a white interior in it too, Bill?
Pardon?
Does this originally have the white interior?
Yeah. Parchment, they call it.
Oh, it's locked.
No, that's not. It's just the weather strip is too thick.
Oh. You don't find them. I think this came from, you said Texas, right?
Yep.
I think it came from.
It was Kansas City when it was built, and then.
Like I said, it's got the original 4-speed. There's 4-speed in it. The old Sun Super Tech, the Super Pro. Beautiful car. in 1981. She was inspected in Texas. And what year did you buy this, Bill?
98.
He bought this in 1998 and had Dave over at Dave's Collision paint it for him. This car is 100% rust free, and was rust free.
Yeah, you can see on the underside, you can see the factory paint.
I still got paint on the floors, he's saying. Yeah, we just put a new cap and rotor on with the MSD plug there. We got to wire up or put in his fuel regulator over here. And I did get the carb all rebuilt.
Oh, your wife's over there. You know,
Yeah, she's out there doing her work stuff.
Okay.
But we got his 850 here all ready to go. So just wanted to take a quick moment to show you guys the car that we're working on. And like I said, it's a beautiful SS Chevelle. I love that color blue. Factory 4-speed car. You can't find them like this anymore. Alright, I gotta get back to work. Still got to come back and work on his fuel pump. We have 3.5 pumps fuel ducted. We'll install the quick fuel. We're going to do a spark plug change on it. We're going to go through a rock lines and an oil change. We had a bad but yeah, guys, we got her fired up and tuned in pretty good. So we still got to come back again and help him do some more work on it. He's got a lot of little stuff he wants done to it, so we're going to come back and give him a hand. But I just wanted to give you another clip of the car.